This is macOS Ken.
KeyBanc versus KeyBanc over iPhone. A big day of small updates from Apple and celebrating the great outdoors without having to go to there. It is Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. It's tough to say who the left hand is and who the right, but analysts at KeyBanc are either at odds or simply don't know what the other is doing. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note from KeyBanc analyst Brandon Nispel on Monday. After a slew of ill-defined abbreviations and math that was kind of hard to follow, Nispel said through 1 month of the fourth quarter of the fiscal year, the data was contrary to the current expectations. We think we are likely to need to see stronger results in August and September, with notable improvement in September results indicating strong iPhone demand in order to believe expectations are achievable. And yet Nispel's KeyBanc colleague John Vinn writes in his own note, our carrier survey indicates iPhone 15 sell-through in July was tracking slightly above store expectations and normal seasonal trends. So who is left and who's right? Worth noting, Nispel has a sector weight rating on Apple shares and no set price target. Monday was a day of minor updates for a few Apple operating systems. 3 pieces from Mac Rumors walk us through, starting with the re-release of iOS 17.6.1. The notes are the same according to the report, only the build number seems to have changed. Quoting Apple's note, this update includes important bug fixes and addresses an issue that prevents enabling or disabling advanced data protection. According to Mac Rumors, the advanced data protection bug impacted a small number of users. Those who tried to turn advanced data protection on and were not able to get it enabled saw an error message, and it was clear it was not active. Affected users who tried to turn it off saw it disabled in the interface, though it was actually still active for iCloud data. The last release of iOS 17.6.1 was said to fix that. The latest release of iOS 17.6.1 is said to fix that. Why the re-release? Well, you tell me. If you've got the first one, you apparently don't need the second one. Anyway, my iPhone is not showing the second one to me. Less mysterious was the release of watchOS 10.6.1 on Monday. Another piece from Mac Rumors had Apple pointing to a problem accessing Apple Fitness Plus as the reason for the update. Like, this update fixes an issue that may prevent access to the feature, and that is all. Back to the land of mystery we turn when we seek to install tvOS 17.6.1. Mac Rumors calls it a minor update, but how could they know? How could any of us know? Probably because there's no noticeable change. The piece says tvOS updates are often minor in scale, and tvOS 17.6.1 is no exception. Anyway, it doesn't seem to be. Well, it could be a security thing. That seems unlikely. Though the update for watchOS encourages folks to check Apple's security site for security info, a visit shows no published CVE entries for any of Monday's OS updates. News of an update that puts the fun in function. A piece from Cult of Mac says Apple has updated the Apple Sports app. Well, it's fun for some. According to the Cult, the app launched full support Monday for real-time scores and stats for the onrushing NFL and college football seasons. They kick off with pro preseason play now underway, and the first college game starting on the 24th of August. The update is free, as is the application. Version 1.6 of the Apple Sports app is available now in the App Store. Apple's podcast offering has gone a bit more global. Following in the footsteps of Apple Maps, a piece from Engadget says Apple Podcasts has broken out of the confines of its dedicated apps. The service has now found a home on the web. Actually, listening on the web was supported before Monday, though this week's update offers a more tailored experience for the user. The improved web interface, which looks a heck of a lot like the dedicated apps, will let listeners and viewers browse shows, access their library, have a look at top charts, pay for subscriptions, and other things you'd expect. According to the report, Apple Podcasts on the web syncs everything with the user's Apple account, so play progress, favorite shows, and subscriptions remain up to date across devices. Users can listen without an Apple ID or without logging into that ID, though syncing and things like that would not be supported in that case. And since it's web-based, Apple Podcasts on the web is available close to everywhere. Engadget has Apple indicating that the expanded Podcasts on the web is available in more than 170 countries on all major web browsers, including Safari, Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. You can check out the offering for yourself at podcasts.apple.com. Speaking of podcasts, Apple TV Plus is hitting with a new one. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Monday with a trailer for the upcoming true crime podcast, Scamtown. It is what it sounds like, a show about scams, ranging from the bizarre to the downright unbelievable, according to the release. Produced by the folks behind The Big Con and McMillions, Apple says each episode of Scamtown highlights a different scheme, featuring a mix of wild hustles, surprising heists, forbidden love, and explosive moments, with stories told by both the creators and the individuals who lived through them. Making podcasts confusing, the release says all 11 episodes will be available on the 26th of August for Apple TV Plus subscribers. For people not subscribed to Apple TV Plus, the first 2 episodes will hit next Monday, the 26th, with the other 9 following one per week on successive Mondays. The Apple TV Plus dark comedy Bad Sisters is coming back for a second season, and relatively soon. Apple TV Plus issued another press release about that on Monday. Teasing the award-winning show's return, the release says 2 years after the accidental death of Grace's abusive husband, the close-knit Garvey sisters may have moved on, but when past truths resurface, the ladies are thrust back into the spotlight, suspicions are at an all-time high, lies are told, secrets revealed, and the sisters are forced to work out who they can trust. 8 episodes for the second season. The first 2 will hit Apple TV Plus on Wednesday, the 13th of November. They will run 1 per week after that, with the season 2 finale hitting on Christmas Day, Wednesday, the 25th of December. Happy holidays, I guess. And finally today, as had been expected, Apple is once again leaning hard in the celebration of U.S. national parks. I told you last week of this week's Apple Watch Activity Challenge. Set for Sunday, the 25th of August, Apple says users can celebrate the nature, history, and heritage of national parks at home or while exploring. This they can do by recording any workout for 20 minutes or more this coming Sunday, for which they will earn a limited edition award and animated stickers for messages. As for other celebratory content, a press release from Apple on Monday highlights the Apple Music playlist, Nature Awaits. Not only is that available to individual subscribers, it's also playing in retail stores across the country, according to the company. There are also more than 30 Apple Maps guides curated by the National Park Foundation for people who want to celebrate parks by going to them. Those are likely to be better in the next few weeks, though, at least the map part. This fall, the release says, across U.S. national parks, users will be able to browse thousands of hikes in maps, filtered by length, elevation, and route type, and follow along with turn-by-turn guidance. In addition, users across the U.S. can explore topographic maps on iPhone with contour lines, trail details, and more. They can also build custom walking routes to tailor their adventures to their personal preferences, whether for a steep uphill climb or a leisurely walk in nature. All national park hikes and custom routes can be saved and accessed offline while away from cell service or Wi-Fi. And finally, there's money. As the U.S. National Park Service marks its 108th birthday this week, the release says Apple is celebrating with more ways to support and experience America's parks. Now through the 25th of August, Apple will make a $10 donation to the National Park Foundation for every purchase made with Apple Pay on apple.com, in the Apple Store app, or at an Apple Store in the U.S. Donations are capped at $1 million, according to the fine print. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.